Hey guys, in today's episode, I am joined by one of my favorite artists and producers, BIJOU. A Phoenix, Arizona native, BIJOU exploded onto the scene in the last few years with some of his collaborations with Dr. Fresh and has since made a name for himself as a top G house artist that dance music fans cannot get enough of. I've personally seen him play at some of the top festivals in the United States and more recently during the Insomniac live stream events. Today, we're diving into his new album release, what inspires him as an artist, and how quarantine has opened up new opportunities to him that otherwise would not have happened. So, let's get into it. Hello you guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I am your host, Emma Kapotes. What is up everybody? Happy Wednesday. I could not be more hype for today's episode. You guys saw the title, you already know. BIJOU is going to be sitting down with me very soon to chat about his upcoming album release, which is dropping this Friday, July 31st. And we're also just going to be talking about what he's been up to in the past few months, what inspires him as an artist, and all sorts of things. I don't know, we talk about TV shows. It's a really good time. He's such a humble, down-to-earth person, and this is one of those like fangirl moments for me. So I'm very excited to share that interview with you guys in just a little bit. But I quickly wanted to thank everybody for being here. You guys know the drill. If you're new here, I would absolutely love it if you would do all the things. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, rate and review the podcast on iTunes, you know, throw a couple stars in there. And if you guys can, please screenshot this and make it your Instagram stories and tag at raveculturecast and at Emma Kapotes. I will always share that, you guys. Thank you for spreading the love. Thank you for telling a friend and sending a link to someone today. That all adds up and I really appreciate it. So thank you guys. And lastly, if you aren't already, you guys should join the Facebook group. We have an incredible community. It's growing quickly, which is incredible. And there's so many conversations going on over there, talking about all things EDM and festival related. And of course the episodes. So yeah, there's a link in the description if you guys aren't already a part of the community. We would absolutely love to have you. So come on down and join the fam over there. All right, and with all that being said, I'm gonna just jump right into things. So first up, we have our listener of the week. So for those of you who don't know, at the top of every episode, I like to shout out one of our listeners, and you guys can send in nominations. So this is completely curated by whatever emails you guys send in. I'm always looking for more submissions, so feel free to email me, raveculturecast@gmail.com. That is raveculturecast@gmail.com with your submissions. So this one today comes from @BubblySam137, and she says, I would like to shout out the Female Ravers United group. They are the most incredible souls who join together to bring light and love into each other's lives. I found this group because you had mentioned them in one of your podcasts, which I love listening to, by the way, and I'm so happy I joined. These women constantly lift each other up and support one another during these times. There are so many talented flow artists, creative crafters, and countless badass bitches to brighten your day. I may not know many of them in the real world, but I know I love every single one of them. And again, that's from @BubblySam137. Echoing everything she said, you guys, I did have the creator of Female Ravers United on here, Ellie. She's incredible. So definitely go join that group on Facebook. It's an awesome community of women. If you guys have the shared interest, you'll love it. We talk about things all the time. It's so engaged. There's so many posts all the time. So you guys will really enjoy that. So thank you, Bubbly Sam, for submitting that. And again, you guys, email me anytime, raveculturecast@gmail.com with your submissions. And speaking of submissions, we are still collecting submissions for an upcoming episode all about your craziest festival stories. This is the last call. I'm going to be recording this episode this weekend. So if you guys haven't already submitted a story, please email me. And I want to hear about your craziest festival stories. It can be things that have happened to you or your group, or things you've witnessed, been a part of, whatever it is. Go balls to the wall. I want to hear all the crazy stories. That's going to be such a fun episode. Anytime the episodes are curated by your stories, they're the best in my opinion. So I'm very much looking forward to what you guys write in about, and it can be anonymous. If you don't want me to say your name, that's totally fine. So feel free to email me with that as soon as you guys can. Alrighty, so a quick intro to Bijou before we just jump right into this interview here. So I was trying to think back on when I became familiar with him, and it's probably like 2016 or 2017, but it's been a couple of years. And my intro to Bijou, from what I remember, was one of his collaborations with Dr. Fresh. I think it was that 100%. And it's just such a fun, bouncy vibe, and oh my God, so much fun. And it was the first time I had really heard about the genre G House, which is heavily influenced by like hip hop. And it's same, you know, if you're a house fan, you'll really like it. If you like bass house, it's a little similar, but it's definitely got a little bit more of like, I don't know, like a darker, dirtier, fun, clubby, hip hop kind of vibe to that genre. So Bijou is definitely, like, in my opinion, a pioneer of the genre. He's at like the top of the game, and he always is coming out with bangers. And, you know, I heard he was gonna be dropping his first studio album, which is so exciting for him as an artist. And it is coming out this Friday, July 31st. It's called Diamond City. And he had posted that this was, you know, you were gonna see all different sides of him as an artist come out. So I just wanted to talk to him, and I wanted to hear all about the album and what he's been up to and what inspires him as an artist, and just talk about life and just get to know him as a person. So he was absolutely lovely. Again, so down to earth. Honestly, like, honored that he sat down with me to come on this podcast. This is a huge moment for me, so I'm so excited to share this with you guys. And you know, when festivals and events come back, 10 out of 10 recommend seeing him live, because his sets are so much fun. I had the pleasure of seeing him at Edc Las Vegas last year, and Ever After. Always a great time. I know you guys would love it. So anyway, go check out his music, stream his album this Friday, give him a follow. All my Phoenix natives, you guys are going to be very proud to have him on today. He's making a name for himself in that city and across the world. So without further ado, everybody, welcome to the podcast, Bijou. Hey, what's going on?
A whole lot. How's it going?
Good. First off, welcome to the podcast. So
Thank
excited to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
A lot of people are a fan of your music and are excited for your album, so they're going to freak out when they see your name.
I'm so excited for that. Like, you have no idea.
Oh, I can't wait to talk to you about it. That's actually the first thing I wanted to bring up, because I know you said it's been like 2 years in the making. And first off, it's called Diamond City. It's dropping July 31st. Everyone get excited. This episode will be coming out either right before or right after that. So everybody go stream the album. But how does it feel? How does it feel?
It's kind of surreal, to be honest with you, because like it's been like in the works for like 2 years, but at the same time, like some vocals, some things have been in the works for longer. Like, for example, the thing with Party Favor, like we went through probably 7 or 8 demos over 5 years.
Wow.
Like since 2015 to like where at one point, one of them was in like his EDC After movie, I think in like 2016, and it's probably never going to come out, you know.
Sure.
It's like, all right, we're just going to put out Whoa, and that's the one we're going to go with because it makes sense. So it's kind of surreal. It's a lot of work. I thought I knew what I was getting into when it all started, and now we're at the point, and I'm like, ooh, this was crazy, and it's still crazy.
I can't even imagine. Well, yeah, because you have some big collabs. I mean, when I saw your names together, I was like, that's going to be an absolute banger. I cannot wait for that to drop, because you guys just have such high energy, like live sets as well. I've seen you at EDC Las Vegas and then at Ever After last year, and it's like always so much fun. But are there any other collabs on that album you can tease?
I mean, we got the one this Friday with DLNT and Vanna, which is like, we've been sitting on that one for a year, and it's honestly been like my most anticipated song, like with all my sets, like every single set, all the streams, everyone's like, what is this? What is this? So I have a feeling that one's going to do well. And then because I've been saying this a little bit publicly, I have something with Denzel Curry on there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's like, I've been a long time fan. So it'll be like the second time I've done something with him, but the first one was with Dr. Fresh. So this is like solo record. And it's like, it's funny because it's kind of current how it, like with the times with what happened. Like the track's called FTP, which I'm sure you can imagine what that means.
Yep.
So it kind of just fell into place. That kind of was on there. And it's like, that one was a process too. That was like an 8 to 12 month process, getting everything cleared for that paperwork, the feature. Like It's a lot. That's what a lot of people don't know, I think, about albums too, is it's not just the production of the album, which has been done since December. It's that the paperwork, getting all the features cleared, the collabs, the business side of it is what takes almost more time.
Sure. And did the current situation of everything happen? Like, did that affect the date of the album release at all?
So that was something that my team and I really had to discuss. And we've been rolling out singles since January. Right. So like the one with Wi-Fi, it was the first single, but like we didn't tell anyone we were rolling out singles. We just started rolling out these singles and people were like, oh, it's just new music. And we announced the album and I haven't come out with the track list yet. So because of that, we were like, we made the conscious decision, like, we're just going to keep pushing forward, because maybe we can't tour right now and there would have been a big album tour, but I'm just going to make another album.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You have more time now. Well, just in general, I know you mentioned Dr. Fresh too. Like how has collaborating like affected your career in general?
Well, I could thank him for a lot of things. He just, first, because he's such a great friend, like first and foremost, the music thing kind of comes second.
Sure.
Working with him and collabing is like, early on in my career, I was doing a lot of collaborations. And at one point I was like, hey, these collaborations are great. I have these great friends I'm working with, but I feel like as an artist, you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet with solo records too. Sure. So that's something I've been focusing on for the last few years. But I know those collaborations have been a big thing. Like when Hello came out in 2016, it came out the same week I had a collab with Vanilla Ace and it was my first night bass release. So it's like those 2 collabs came out and I immediately started getting offers to play out of state, which I'd never seen before. Okay.
So so it directly correlated to that.
It was big, yeah.
Okay. And do you feel like, because I know you produce a lot under the genre G House, do you feel like bound to that by this album? Or do you think you went a little bit out of that? Because I know you said we can expect to hear some things from you that we haven't heard before.
100%. Like with the album and the concept, like I wanted to not only give you like every aspect production side of me, but I wanted to show people like who I am as a person. So you get a little bit of music from the album also that I listen to on a consistent basis. It's not just G House.
Yep.
But it's everything in the album though is hip hop influence, but you're not getting just G House.
Sure. And I was going to ask you, that's a big question, but who influences you? And then what were some of your influences like for this album in particular?
For one, I just want to say like Phoenix in general, because like, can I kind of give you like the background, like what Diamond City means? So you know how Travis Scott has Astro World, right? And he like claims Houston.
Sure. Yeah. So
it's kind of a big thing we're doing because I'm kind of claiming like Phoenix as my own, which I never thought I would do. And it's like, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks here and I played baseball my entire life for like 18 years. So there's that influence, right? And then if you go into like the background of my name, BIJOU means a fine jewel. So I'm kind of coining Phoenix as Diamond City. So like that's the debut album.
Yep.
So it all ties in. But like my city's been a big influence. I guess like hip hop overall, like old school, like West Coast hip hop has been like my biggest influence, like Dre, Snoop. But then you go to the Bay, like E40, OGs like Drew Down, stuff that people don't even really know about, like Selly Cell. People be like, who's Selly Cell?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, not gonna lie, I don't listen to too much like hip hop or anything like that. I'm a big Post Malone fan, but that's like about it. But I appreciate all forms of EDM. Like I can listen to anything, and just in general, like I feel like it just shapes you as a person and an artist, and we're gonna hear that come out through all of your songs. So I definitely think that's huge. And then where you're from, like I haven't actually gone to any shows or festivals in Arizona, but I feel like the EDM scene there seems to be growing, and they keep having, like Phoenix Lights and Decadence all popping up over there.
It's big. There's like 10 to 12 festivals a year here. And like, my management company are the ones that throw all the shows. So they're doing like 300 plus club shows a year too.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, there's multiple venues. You have like Talking Stick, you have Aura, you got Shady Park. There's like new stuff popping up. It's just grown tremendously. And it's like, I came kind of from the roots of the Phoenix scene. I started as a promoter handing out flyers in the streets.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that's
literally
awesome.
From the ground up and selling tickets. So I've got to watch it grow for the last 10 years. So it's been a really, really fun thing to watch.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's so unfortunate, like given the current situation of everything happening, because I feel like it was just on this like upward trajectory across the board as far as like more shows and more festivals popping up. And I definitely wanted to get out there at some point, but I don't know. I think the spirit is still very much alive, and things like your live stream sets and albums dropping are just sort of like getting us through this time right now. So like I very much appreciated it. Loved some of your Insomniac sets, by the
Thank
way.
you.
So
Thank
good.
you.
I had to ask you, I was like, what is it like being in the Insomniac headquarters, like playing to basically Pasquale?
So I'll be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't really get nervous about much.
Yeah.
But that one was like different level. You're like on a TV set with
Right.
like cues to come in, and they're like, yo, time this, time that. And when I was waiting, like the guy before me, he went over a little bit because they were just chatting, it happens.
Mhm.
And my nerves just started going and going and going.
Right.
And he's talking to you while you're also trying to plug in and everything. So you got to answer questions. And it's like, it was a little different. I don't know. I was like prepared for that. But when I got done, I was like, whoa. It was like a breath of fresh air because that was nerve wracking. And you have like 50,000 people watching you on a stream.
Yeah.
If you mess up, like you got 50,000 people. It's not like maybe 300 people in a club and you can get on the mic and fix it. Like you can't do that in a stream.
For sure. Yeah. It's just such an interesting, one, it's such an interesting time to be alive right now. And two, just to like watch it all unfold, because you guys are coming out with your masks and like your gloves on and you're like, what are we doing here? But it's still so amazing to watch. And then, just have like Pasquale there dancing along to everybody's set, but you killed it. And I mean, I think the risks far outweigh, like the rewards are just so great with that too, because you probably had so many people discover you in the last few months just through those Insomniac sets as well.
100%. Like my socials kind of went crazy. It was like, and it's something that I think is super important is like interaction with people who really care. Like I literally went through my IG, like it's me on my Instagram. It's not my team. And I like literally DM'd every single person who watched and told them thank you.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. It's like, it matters,
Mm-hmm.
It always goes back to like, I say this all the time, but all of us are people. Just because like I'm an artist doesn't mean there's any pedestal or I'm any different from anyone else.
Yeah, I love that. No, that's so great to hear. I was going to ask you about your social media in general, because I was going back to do some research and it looks like you recently updated everything. So how much does social media play a role in all of this for you as well?
It's huge. It's honestly like an artist now, and like being a producer and a DJ, it's like you're not just a producer and a DJ. You're like, you're a social media marketer. You're a PR person. Like you kind of have to do it all. And it's like, I guess just being in the social media era has been beneficial because I've been able to figure things out, and my team definitely helps. Like, but I think social media is huge because literally people go to social media to find out everything now. Like newspapers are irrelevant in a sense. And like magazines are still cool, but like if we're talking social media, it's the biggest platform. And it's like, now TikTok is going away too. I saw like,
yeah, I don't know. It's the security issues with that are a little alarming to me.
I'm cool with it because I never use TikTok. I don't have a single video on there.
Okay.
So I'm like, whatever.
Right.
And I also feel like TikTok, this is just my opinion. I feel like TikTok, like it's great and it's been amazing as a platform for people. But like for me and like my music, I felt like it just didn't really translate because I guess my music, it's not for like 10 to 12-year-old kids, which are the majority that are on TikTok,
Sure. Yeah, I feel that. I know, right? I'm like, I'm over here about to be 30 next year. Like maybe I missed the mark.
30.
I know you did. Happy belated.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is like this album's like a birthday gift. This is kind of like divine timing for you.
But yeah, it's funny you went to try and go like do some research, but like it cleared. I was literally going to clear it blank.
Yep.
And we decided to keep like a few album things up there, but like we cleared everything just to be like, all right, you're only getting album content now.
Right.
So like if you were here before, dope, we appreciate you. But now we're moving forward and this is like phase 2.
Is it still like for you, is it still a typical release plan or is it a little different because you don't have like a tour coming up right after it? Like, do you think there's more of an effort pushing this album now?
There was going to be a very, very conscious effort regardless. But I think we're pushing it even harder. And how would I say it? It's something that's like, it's insane. It's honestly just insane. This is different. Like it's constant interviews. It's constant like PR stuff. Like media things, and it's like nonstop. There's something that we have to do every single day.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's like Josh, who I'm sure you talked to yesterday, he's like, yo, you're going to be extremely busy in July. I don't want to hear a single complaint. I was like, all right, cool.
Oh yeah. Booked and busy. Things would be worse.
Busy's good. Busy's good, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got to ask you too, like, how has it been being home? Obviously this month is going to be insane for you, but how have like the last few months been?
Also very busy. I kind of pivoted really quickly and I started doing production lessons. So
I saw that. Yeah.
It's been amazing. Like,
wow.
I have my business manager, he kind of helps me with it. And we have this whole operation set up and it works really well. And it's been cool to interact with people on a one-on-one basis because everything's through Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because you're not in a classroom. I feel like in a classroom, like full of, say, 25 people,
right,
you're not getting that one-on-one help that you need and may want. So you're literally getting 2 hours one-on-one where we get to work together and we can focus exactly on what you want to focus on.
Wow.
You know, so it's very, very pinpointed and it's had like a massive success rate. So I'm really, really happy with how that's been. And it's like, I've met some amazing people that now I'm even like, yo, like you guys were just listening to my music and now I feel like you're my friend.
Right.
You know,
yeah. How long did you, when did you start that?
Probably the second or third week of March. As soon as I heard that shows were probably going to be stopping, I was like, I got to figure something out.
Right.
You know, and it's like, I'm like, I don't like to use this term, but like, it's kind of like the hustler's mentality in me. Cause like I work so much, but it's like, I love what I do. So I'm okay with it.
Right.
Like, for example, after this, like I'm going to go work out and then I have a 2 to 4, 5:30 to 7:30 and an 8 to 10.
Wow. All just back-to-back appointments.
Yeah. And then tomorrow I have like, cause I have to go to Palm Springs this weekend, shoot album content. So tomorrow I got to go in the morning. This is so funny. I have to get a facial.
Nice.
Do my haircut. And then I have 2 sessions. And then I got to leave at 6 a.m. to Palm Springs on Friday morning.
Wow. So geez. I mean, I feel like your career has just been like building in the last few months. Are you waking up right now and pinching yourself being like, what the fuck is my life?
Honestly, it's been crazy because like I thought through this time that everything was going to plateau and like there's been growth. And I was really surprised. I was like, oh gosh, how is this happening? It's like, I don't know. We're just going to keep what we're doing what we're doing and push forward. And it's like, I am kind of pinching myself. I'm like, yo, this was crazy. I feel like this could be like a very special moment.
Yeah. So. And I mean, I think things feel a little bit different now too, as far as like where we were even in March when like it just was like cancellation after cancellation and things like that were happening. Like I had spoken to Gesture and right when this was like starting and he was just saying like, obviously it's like such a financial burden on everyone involved in the music festival community and the music industry in general. And you don't think about all these small jobs that are getting cut because we're not having shows and things like that. But there is now this time to focus on other things and to focus on the music and live stream sets or like other hobbies. So not that it's like not that it's ever a good thing to happen, but like maybe these other circumstances would never even have occurred because you would have been so busy anyway, you know?
100%. I feel like it's honestly like it has been a financial burden for so many people, even outside of music, you know? But I feel like it's also been a great time. Like, I'm going to say this, it's going to be funny because it's like such a stereotype. I'm vegan. So I'm like, yo, the environment looks amazing. There's no smog. Like people aren't driving. I'm cool with it. Like if you saw videos like in Italy, you could see like in the Venice canals, like you could see to the bottom. And that hasn't happened in years.
Right.
So it's like that's happened. I feel like it's given people a lot of time to like learn different things about themselves and spend time with people they care about.
Yeah.
So I think there's been a lot of benefits from it too.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think, I mean, in some ways, like I've been seeing more and more people out walking around, like spending time with family and like some of those things you take for granted. And now you just like have the time to do that and like invest back in yourself. So in some ways, like things have worked out the way that they should have. And now you're, you know, getting to meet all of these people through all the lessons that you're doing. But have you learned anything in return from some of the people you've been working with?
100%, you know. I've learned so much. And it's like, because here's the thing, like I have students who have literally are opening Ableton for the first time to people who are already releasing on labels. Like one guy, we started doing a few lessons and he was advanced. So I definitely learned a few different things from him, but like we just signed one of his records, you know?
Wow.
So I'm not saying this is the way to get in and like sign stuff to the label, but like it can work, you know? And I was like, these tracks are amazing and he knows what he's doing. And he signed numerous songs after that. And it's cool to see people with aspirations like I had so many years ago. And I'm like, I know exactly how you guys feel. And it's also like, it's opened my eyes to a different business model in a sense. I'm like, yo, like I'm in the process of writing a curriculum now. And I actually want to open like a legitimate school in Phoenix, you know, because like there's like a recording school here, but it's like more for engineering. There's nothing that gears towards like dance music production. And say there's like different sectors, like you have management side, you have production side, you have the business side. That doesn't exist here. So why can't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you find a gap in the system that like you need to fill that 100%, especially like during this time, even if people were interested in it before, but they either didn't have the time or, you know, found different reasons not to do it. This is giving people that extra push. Cause I know a few people who have bought equipment during this time and are like messing around themselves as well, who like never even had mentioned it beforehand. Yeah. So it is kind of like pushing people in that direction, which is good.
People need something to do. And I feel like it's allowing people to find hobbies too, because people are so used to like the 9 to 5 to grind. And they're like just doing this. They wake up, maybe they go to the gym before, they go to work, they work, maybe they go to the gym after, I don't know. They eat dinner. They're like, all right, I'm gonna watch TV for a couple hours and I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yep.
You know?
Something to fill the time. Yeah. I'm the same as you. I'm like, every hour of the day is filled with doing something. There's like never not a downtime.
Yeah, it's like I was up till like 1 last night. I had to record another stream last night.
Wow.
I was either gonna do it Thursday night or last night, and I was like, I'm gonna do it Monday night, or what day is it?
Wednesday.
Oh, Tuesday. I was like, I'm gonna do it tonight, which was yesterday. Yeah. Because I gotta get up at like 5 a.m. on Friday.
Wow, geez. How do you feel about live streams in general? Like, were you watching certain things before, or do you watch them now? Like, just in general?
I used to watch them all the time. When I wasn't playing shows, I was like addicted to like what is it? It was like the IDTV or something, or IB at TV. I would watch, like, I was so into trance and hardstyle back in the day.
Oh, that's awesome.
The melodies. And I would just like, I'd watch all the Q dance streams. I was like obsessed.
Yep.
And then like time, obviously I don't have as much time, but like just last week, I think I was just chilling. I finally had some downtime and I was like, I'm going to watch some Lee Foss streams. So I did.
Oh, nice.
You know, so like I'm watching some of them and I think the streams are cool. And I think it's a way to broaden your fan base too, because not everyone can get to EDC or Nocturnal or Ever After. You know, so people can sit at home and watch the stream. And there's people who have hit me up and be like, I had no idea who you were, but we love what you're doing. And I'm like, that's great. You know?
Yeah. No, that's so awesome. There's been like, just seeing this community step up during this time, like from the get-go. Like, I feel like once things were starting to get canceled, we had like the Insomniac sets and people were popping up on Twitch. So that's just been like so amazing to see everything happening. Like, there's absolutely been no shortage of music. And it is nice that some of the sets are uploaded on YouTube as well. But literally last week's episode was the pros and cons of live stream sets. And it's like free. You don't have to travel anywhere. All your drinks are here. What else? Like, you know, it's just, there's so many positives coming out of it. So it is pretty amazing to have all that right now.
It is cool. I played a car rave too a few weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
About a month and a half ago. It was the first one they did in Arizona. And it was sick. Like, it was 2 nights. So we did Friday, Saturday, and both nights were back to back with Dr. Fresh. The first night was
lineup. I was like, oh my God, am I about to fly to Arizona for this?
You should have. Yeah. It was dope. But it was like, it was cool. And like, honestly, everyone did an amazing job of staying in their car space and there were no issues. It was just a different vibe because like everyone's in their car space and they're far away from you. It's not like the crowd is right there, but it was so much fun.
Yeah. I'm glad that like event production companies were able to jump on that. And cause you were seeing these things pop up in Europe and they're way ahead. They're probably going to have shows opening up far before we are, unfortunately. But once I saw those popping up there, I was like, wow, I really hope we can turn that around and have that happen. And there haven't been any, I'm in New Jersey, like there haven't been any in our area yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of the shows and like venues in New York pull something together. But people in Brooklyn don't really have cars. So
yeah. So that's kind of like, I feel like a lot of people in New York just don't have cars.
Yeah. So we'll just all socially distance and stand apart or like whatever.
It's like your stand space instead of your car space.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But just in general, like, how do you feel, with like this lapse in shows right now? Like, what do you miss the most about just festival season or playing shows in general?
So like there's a feeling you get when you're playing a show, and it's like majority of the time I have like an intro, right? Mm-hmm. And when that first song drops in, it's like immediate goosebumps. I miss that feeling so much because it's like you can hear like, how in the crowd you'd be like, ooh, when the drop is just like so sick.
Yeah.
I miss that feeling, and that's something that I can only get in two places. It's either there or when I'm in the studio and I finish something and I'm like, yeah, I think I have something here.
Yeah.
And I really, really miss that. And I miss interacting with the people. And like a lot of the reason I do this is because it brings so many people joy. It's like a lot of people have to work, and this is like their getaway from that, And the fact that they're coming to a show I'm playing to get away from like what they have to deal with, that means a lot to me. So that's something I miss too, because I'm wondering like, like how are people dealing with this too? Because they can't even go to the shows.
Right.
Because it's like, it's not only about the artists. People love the shows as much as we love playing them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. It's like the sense of community. Like that's been the thing I've noticed the most, like even with these live stream sets and like still seeing people getting dressed up and doing Zoom calls. Like at the end of the day, it's all about like that human interaction between each other. And that's how I feel just about shows and festivals coming back. Like even with health and safety precautions being taken, so much of it is like the shared experiences you have and the interaction. So it's like, is it still going to be that same feeling if you can't really like hug another person? It's still going to get the music at the end of the day, which is the best part, but it won't be the same feeling as that,
Yeah, 100%. And like as an artist too, like sometimes because like a lot of my friends who are artists are touring, I don't get to see them very often. So a lot of times, like when we're playing the same festival, it's like, this is like maybe the three or four times that we're going to get to see each other this year. And that's the only time we get together,
Right.
And I know it's like that for a lot of artists, especially ones that live overseas. And like, I think a lot of the international acts that lived here, they had to move back because I think they revoked visas when this all happened.
Yeah, the travel bans just like in general are crazy. And like I know the border of Canada is closed right now because I was talking to this duo called the Disco Godfathers. They're awesome. 10 times check them out. But they were saying they had shows booked in Florida and literally had to fly back home before they closed the border because they've been stuck there since. Like obviously they can't come back yet. So, yeah, it's crazy. And even just in general, you still have festivals on the schedule in the fall, but you gotta like half the people on the lineup, if they live in Europe or something like that, might like they can't even fly here. So
yeah. So what are you gonna do about the lineup? Just switch it up real quick and like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't think festivals are gonna happen in the fall.
No, yeah, I don't think so either.
It's just crazy. But like, in Spain, they just announced BPM for September. There's like 150 acts on that.
Yep. Yeah. I know. Once I saw that the like the Ibiza summer was canceled, which I've never gone to. It's like a dream of mine to go do that. But I was like, oh God, I can't even imagine how that feels for so many artists.
I want to go so bad. And it's like a lot of artists too, like that's like their summer. They spend the whole summer in Ibiza and that's what they do.
Right.
They're tour Europe for the summer.
Yeah. Have you ever played over there?
I played in Europe, in Croatia, actually.
Wow.
A couple years ago, this dude rented a private. So, like, you're familiar with Ship Fam, like with Holy Ship?
Yeah.
So this dude who's part of Ship Fam, he's done like random parties, and his name's Corey. He's awesome. He had built a club in his house, right? So he books DJs, and he'll invite like 50 of his friends, and they'll have like this private party at his house.
Wow.
So one year he did Camp Ship Fam, which was in North Carolina. And he literally rented out a summer camp. The next year he couldn't get it. So he's like, yo, I'm renting an island. Nobody believed him. He literally got an island in Croatia.
Wow.
And booked us for it. And we were there for like a week.
Jeez Louise.
Like 200 people. And you like, Claude even played it.
Gee. Oh, must be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I aspire to be. That's so fucking cool. Yeah. Croatia too. Like they have some amazing festivals as well during the summer. I've heard, and they have like a yacht week that I thought I read that was still potentially happening this year, but
I mean, it's so warm out. The summer's not over.
I know, there's so much potential. We just can't fly anywhere, but they can still have their fun.
We can go to Thailand.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
I'm thinking about taking a vacation there.
Yeah. Have you felt like, because I know there were a couple artists who right before this happened, like a lot of people were coming out saying like they're just absolutely exhausted or they're taking a break for their mental health because their schedules are just like so insane. So I think about those people and I wonder if this break will sort of give them that actual break or like mental clarity. Like how do you feel? Like, did you think your touring schedule was like absolutely insane and do you appreciate this time or are you just ready to get back out there?
I think maybe I'm insane because I don't think touring schedule was ever insane.
Right.
Last year I did around 100 shows.
Wow. Okay.
Like that. This year was going to be more like the album tour. I probably shouldn't say this. I'm not going to say it. I can't.
I'll clip that out.
The album tour was going to be big. Let's just say it was going to be like North America, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. And it was going to go over like 4 months. It was going to be a lot of shows. And it's like, I've already come to terms with it's not happening. And I'm like, that's cool. It's like, how can you control something that's out of your control?
Right.
You know, this is totally off topic of what you asked, but
No,
I'm cool with the touring schedule. Like you can send me on the road whenever you want. I've done like 7 shows in 10 days before and flown across the country.
Wow.
I think 3 or 4 times in that span. Like I've done 3 shows in 24 hours and I was just like, cool. Like what's next?
Right.
You know, because like
you're doing it.
I'm completely sober. So like I don't have to worry about the hangover or feeling like shit on Sunday morning when I got to fly home.
Right.
Like, I usually stay up after the club and just take the first flight out.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Sleep a few hours and then just keep it moving.
That is such a good point. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I don't think I've been hungover in the last 3 months. It's been a beautiful thing, right?
No, it's been good for a lot of people. A lot of people think like, I don't drink as much anymore. I feel amazing. So it's been good.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's a lot more like, if anything, having like a casual drink or something like that. But that definitely is a good point. I think there's just like this some part of you, like when you can't do something, you obviously want it a little bit more. And that's how I feel like a little bit about just in traveling in general. I mean, I had an aggressive festival schedule. I was planning to do probably like 8 this year and just hop around. But so having that taken away, obviously, like you said, we just love it. You know, it's our hobby. It's what we love to do. We love to see friends we haven't seen, and to take that away at first was just like such a like punch to the gut. And now you're just like, all right, I made peace with it. They're going to come back at some point, and it's just going to be so much sweeter when we get to have that experience again. So I've sort of like emotionally detached from shows at this point.
You gotta just let it go.
Yeah.
You know? It's just one of those things. And it's like, I can't even watch like videos from old shows because I'm just like, oh, this sucks. Like I'm just not going to watch.
Yeah. A lot of people have been saying that exact same thing. It is. It's tough. It's definitely tough. But, you know, like I said, in the meantime, we have music and we have Zoom calls and we have other things to sort of just like get us through this time. And I did want to ask you if you've been spending time doing anything else besides like doing production with people. How else have you been spending your time? Binge watching any shows or?
What is that show I just watched? It's about this. It was on FX. All right, so I'll give you the background on it. It's like I'm going to preface it with this. I was a pre-law major, so like criminal stuff I'm super into, right? So it's about this dude. It's this kid who's really smart. He grew up, I think, in Crenshaw or somewhere in South Central, and it's about how he basically started the crack epidemic, and he was the biggest drug dealer in like that space. I forget what it's called. Season 4 comes out next month.
It's on FX. I'll have to look this up. Okay.
I binge watched it for 3. I watched it in 2 days, like all 3 seasons, nonstop. I was like walking around with my computer doing things and watching the show. Snowfall. It's called Snowfall. Okay,
perfect. I'll have to check that out. I just finished the Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix. It was, I mean, it's just like, it's heavy, obviously, but I knew who he was, but I wasn't fully familiar with the story. It was like 4-hour-long episodes, but afterwards you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I can't even believe this has been going on. And like, with how it all ended and everything, you're just like, this is actually insane. The fact that somebody lived like this for like 20 years, it's pretty fucking crazy. And now just so much wealth.
That woman was living with, I don't know. Like, stuff like that kind of bothers me a little bit. I'm like, yo, that dude was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to watch that. And now that girl he was working with just got arrested too.
Yeah. So the documentary, I think obviously it came out in 2020, but spoiler, everyone, they didn't get that on film because that just recently happened that she was arrested. So, like, that's not really in it, but yeah, no, I recommend that. That one was crazy. I'm trying to think of anything else. I watch a lot of the true crime on Netflix as well. Some of those documentaries, but
I've been wanting to been watching a lot of like random surf things. I don't know what it is. I just been like really intrigued by surfing recently.
Yeah. And so I was going to ask you this before, obviously being like you played baseball for so long. Like, how do you feel about no MLB season?
That's kind of an easy question.
Yeah.
I'm sad because I can't watch my team. Like, I'm a Pirates fan. So like my dad's from like up near Buffalo. He was born in Pittsburgh. So I grew up like a Pirates fan my whole life. But at the same time, I'm like, honestly, I didn't watch that much baseball. I'd rather go to the games. I'm just disappointed that like I can't go to the games.
Right.
You know, like, I am hyped though because I'm a huge F1 fan and they just started the season last week.
Okay.
So F1 is back and I'm like diehard Lewis Hamilton. He's just like a good dude. Vegan. Awesome. I gotta root for him.
Yeah.
I'm biased. It's like Lewis Hamilton and no one.
Yeah, that's awesome though. Well, no, it's good some things are getting through. I same thing, like, you know, it's not music industry related, but same thing for all the athletes and stuff. Like, you got to feel for them. And I'm waiting to hear what the decision is going to be about the NFL, because I'm a massive Minnesota Vikings fan for some reason. And like, I'm just like dying to find out if we're going to have a season. There's like no way they're not going to play with fans in the crowd. So then it's just going to be the weirdest thing to watch on TV.
It's going to be really, really odd. And it's not like they can give you seats that are like 6 apart, you know?
No, yeah.
A lot of like games are crazy. People at the games are crazy. So there's no way they're going to listen to those rules.
Nope.
No, especially like I'm a Bills fan and they got the Bills Mafia, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes.
There's no chance they're going to listen to what any of those rules are.
No, they're nuts.
So
that's crazy. Yeah, you guys just got Stephon Diggs.
We're going to win the AFC East this year. The Patriots are out. I'm calling it now.
I would not be surprised. Yeah, no, they've been getting better and better every year.
We should have had it last year. We were close.
Yep. All right. Before I let you go here, I just wanted to ask too, as far as like anybody listening who either would want to work with you or just in general, like thinking about having a career in music, do you have any advice for aspiring artists right now?
Ooh, I love that question. One, you have to be willing to make like any sacrifice to make this work. Like, my time is so limited. Like, I don't see my family that much. I don't see my friends that much. You have to be willing to go all in on this. And it's a very difficult thing to do. And you got to take the risk because this is a very vulnerable situation to be in. And you never know what might happen. Like, for example, no touring, boom, income gone. So you have to go all in. You have to work super, super hard. It's so stereotypical. But like, there's literally someone who is working nonstop who's going to work harder than you. So you have to work, not against that person, but like you have to work as hard as you possibly can without overdoing it, Right. And the biggest thing is believe in what you're doing. Like if you don't believe in what you're doing, then I really firmly believe that it's never going to work, And you got to go with your heart on things that you're doing because that's when you know that everything you're doing is really right. And I think that's what makes what you're doing specifically so special.
For sure. No, that's a good piece of advice. And something to tie in with that, I heard recently, like something, I'm a little bit into horoscopes and stuff. And I kept hearing things about like not comparing yourself to others or not competing with others. And similar to what you just said, I feel like at the end of the day, if you know you're working as hard as you possibly can, there almost isn't a competition because you already know you're working harder than anybody else. So I feel like if you have that, then you wouldn't even be concerned about like what anybody else is doing,
100%. You're only ever working against yourself. And it's like, I don't listen to really much dance music anymore. It's because like, I don't know, like, I don't like all my peers. I love what they're doing. When they send me music, I listen to it, but like, I don't need to listen to what everyone else is doing. Because even if you're not doing it subconsciously, that may be in the back of your head and you may be doing things and you're like, oh, this sounds like this. And you're like, oh, it sounds exactly like what that person was doing. And you may get away from like what you really believe in just by that. It's like, Lil Wayne always said this. He's like, I only listen to my own music, Yeah. I don't do that, but like, I only pretty much listen to hip hop.
Right. Yeah. You step outside a little bit, but do you think like because, you know, because some people might say, like, obviously play a lot of shows, get your name out there, like get exposed to people. But since you can't do that right now, I would argue like there's still a great opportunity because you can still just release as much music as you want. And like everybody's still looking at Twitch and SoundCloud and things like that as well. So you can still just keep putting the music out there.
Yeah, now's a good time for that. And like a lot of bigger artists have stopped releasing because they're like, oh, we're just not going to release during this time. So it's like, honestly, like as a smaller artist, just take the risk. Don't be afraid to hit anyone up, you know, and just say hello and tell them that you enjoy what they're doing. You know, like I think one of the biggest things is creating that personal relationship with people. And it's not a personal relationship that you're using them for business purposes. It's creating like a true relationship because you enjoy what they're doing and you're intrigued by this person. You know, it's like creating a relationship with anyone.
Right.
You know, like, I just enjoy this person's energy and what they bring to me when I'm around them. Like, I just want to be their friend. You know? And it's like, I think it's tough to separate those things when it comes to artistry and the business side of things, because like, I wish this could be only like dope. I just got to produce music and like put it out and that's it. And nothing works that way, you know?
And you got to take a risk too, because you never know. I mean, even having you on today, like I'm freaking out right now, but
I'm just a normal dude. I mean,
no. But just like in general, like I hadn't had any artists on really before until these last few months. And I just said to myself, I was like, people might have a little bit more time right now. Like you have to just shoot your shot and reach out and see like who you hear back from. And that's opened so many opportunities. So the same thing goes for anybody listening, like shoot your shot and put yourself out there. You might hear back, you might not, but it could work in your favor.
Exactly. And here we are. And like, I've had fun today. So if anybody was like, hey, I don't know if I want to do this, I'd be like, yo, do it. She's dope.
Thank you. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it.
I'll co-sign you.
Thank you. Well, I hope I get to see you in person again at some time and go see your show. My last question for you, it could be personally, professionally, what are you most excited about right now?
It's the album. You know, it's like, I'm nervous, but at the same time, I'm like, the feedback for the few people who have heard it has been amazing. So like, I'm just excited to get this body of work out there so that people can be like, all right, we can listen to this. Because like, I kind of been teasing it like since last year. I was like, I'm gonna have my album done by December. I finished it by December, but I didn't say anything about that.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, I'm just excited that I can get this out there and people are going to get to enjoy the music. And I'm excited to see the feedback, whether it's good, whether it's bad. I think it's going to be good. Awesome. I'm just happy that I can get this out there and that it's boom, you guys have it. Because like, it's mine right now. And then when I release it, like it's yours and everyone else's. You know?
Right. For sure. So. Well, it will definitely, I do like a new Music Friday Spotify playlist every week. So by the time this episode comes out, you guys, it's dropping July 31st, Diamond City, go stream it. Where can everybody find you? Tag your social media profile.
IG, DJ BIJOU. We got Twitter, just at BIJOU. I think my Facebook is like official DJ BIJOU. Like they're all different. They need to be the same.
Yeah.
Spotify is just BIJOU. And then same thing with like Apple Music, Amazon, all that, you know, BIJOU. If you are curious about the spelling.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'll tag everything below. BIJOU, hang tight. Everybody else, I will be back in just a minute with our EDM news. Alrighty, you guys. Shout out BIJOU for joining me today and doing this interview with me. It was honestly such a pleasure. It was so great talking to him and just getting to know him better as a person and just have like a really real conversation with what an artist is going through right now and how quarantine has affected him and his life. And it's kind of crazy just to see like how one door closes and another one opens. And I don't know, like where would we be if this didn't happen, if that makes sense in a way. But so excited to hear his album. I cannot wait. Again, you guys, it comes out this Friday, July 31st, and it's called Diamond City. So go stream it, show him some love, tag him in your posts, tell him that Rave Culture Cast sent you, and give him a follow on Instagram and all of the things. So thank you again, BIJOU, for joining me today. And you guys, next up we have our EDM news, and I got quite a lot to cover today, as per usual. So let's hop right into things. This is a new segment I'm gonna call What Music Festivals Are Canceled Next. We're laughing on the outside, crying on the inside, but this is like the reality of every single week for the last like 3 months. Okay, so Halloween was canceled, Dirty Bird Campin' was canceled, which Kind of had a feeling that one was coming. I think like anything right now that's, you know, gonna have a large gathering and be indoor, and like that was a whole hotel experience, so kind of had a feeling that was gonna happen. And then lastly, Dance Festopia announced that they would be canceling this year's event as well. And this was another case of, you know, they had announced some health and safety measures that they were gonna take. I think on June 23rd is when they announced that. And it had kind of been radio silent. I noticed there weren't any updates from them, so I had a feeling they were gearing up for an announcement of a cancellation. But I literally just filmed an entire YouTube video all about the festival and the lineup. So we had to scrap that, but that's okay. This festival does look really cool, and it's something I'd be interested in doing in the future. But for now, they will be returning in 2021. So that's all the news on festivals. Oh wait, last thing. Kind of EDC Las Vegas news. I'd be surprised by the time this episode comes out, maybe we'll have a full answer, but Pasquale did tease on his Instagram stories that EDC Las Vegas news would be coming in the next few weeks. And he said he's only gonna have the show if it's safe. Honestly, I've talked about this a couple times now. At this point, I feel like we're just dragging it out. Like, there's no way in hell EDC Las Vegas is gonna happen. It's like the biggest festival in the United States. It would be unsafe at this point with the state of how everything is going. I mean, California, I think LA just went back to phase 1 of lockdown. So I just don't really see how EDC Las Vegas would even happen. So I feel like they shouldn't delay the inevitable anymore, but hopefully we will have an answer very soon. I know it's something that people have been looking forward to for such a long time, and this is like absolutely devastating for dance music fans. But I hope that a lot of you guys will be able to carry your tickets over and, you know, be able to go in the future, because I know how devastating that is. But I will keep you updated as soon as we have a definitive answer. I'm sure if they don't have it, maybe they're gonna plan something in its place. I don't know, I was just watching the Tomorrowland stream today, which was pretty fucking cool. So maybe EDC Las Vegas could do something a little bit similar to that. At the bare minimum, it'd be nice to get a live stream out of them. So we will see. Okay, and then we had some artist announcements, but one last thing. Imagine Music Festival is also dropping the phase 1 of their lineup for next year on July 28th. So I think at this point, will that be out already? What day is it? Oh yeah, that would have come out yesterday. So go check that out. I'm sure I'll have thoughts and opinions on it when I read it, but that's pretty exciting as well. Okay, so I wanted to share an announcement from Dubloads because this came as a little bit of a shock. I definitely enjoy his music. I'm not like the biggest fan. I wouldn't say like I follow him very closely, but this was, you know, it's obviously always upsetting to see a message like this coming from an artist who clearly has had a realization about their life and their career. So he posted a very long, heartfelt tweet, and I suggest you guys go read it if you're a fan of him, or even if you're just obviously a fan of EDM. But it was very interesting. He kind of just said that for the last few years that he's given to Dubloads, he just feels like, he said it's a character he just doesn't feel like playing anymore, and he doesn't really have belief in. He just basically said he's kind of like moved on. I don't know, he just doesn't have the love for the craft anymore or for the music, and it's, I think during this time with quarantine, like putting everything on pause, he said he's finally like had the time to just realize that like this isn't what he wants to do anymore. He said, I'm getting older and I can feel the lack of energy and passion I once had consistently depleting. My passion was in my art and music, and while I will always make art and music, it's simply a hobby at this point. I've always blamed myself for my failures. I've made a lot of stupid mistakes and burned a lot of bridges that I regret. This has been difficult because it feels like I'm giving up, and I've tried countless things to pull myself out of this hole. More than anything, I feel like I failed my fans. Getting to meet all of you and share these crazy experiences, seeing people wear my merch, or having my art tattooed has given me life. You guys and gals have kept me afloat for far longer than you'll ever know, and I could never explain how sorry I am that this is happening. So it was a very heartfelt message to his fans as well. He's obviously extremely grateful for his career, and it's hard. It's ending any chapter, especially something like this that has given you so much and you've poured so much of your time and energy into. I cannot even imagine how that feels. So my heart goes out to Dubloads, wishing him all the best in whatever he chooses to do with his career. I hope he finds happiness and joy in anything else, whatever makes him happy. So wishing him all of the best. And lastly, we have a statement that was posted from Mimi Page. She was a collaborator with Bass Nectar. You guys will know her on the song Butterfly, which he obviously is extremely famous for. And she had been very vocal when a lot of the allegations were coming out against him, and then when he obviously made his statement that he was taking a step back from his career, she had a little bit to say about that. Please, I'm telling you, go read her full statement. It's very long, but it is so worth the read. I feel like so many people can relate to it on so many fronts. Like, she's approaching it from her perspective and her experiences that she's had from him as a female collaborator. And honestly, I just like felt for her so much, especially like as a female. Like, I've had situations in my life where I felt taken advantage of, or I haven't stood up for myself, and I've definitely been underpaid and undervalued and taken advantage of. So hearing her talk about basically a similar scenario, like being wooed and being charmed and taken advantage of and manipulated, and all in the sense of like a business setting, but then some of the inappropriate behavior that she experienced and sort of swept under the rug and didn't really fully process was inappropriate at the time. She kind of talks about all of that, and it's very heartfelt. I think it's worth the read, you guys, so go check it out. Again, her name is Mimi Page on Twitter, and it's called Words from My Heart, Sounds from My Soul, an open letter to Lauren Ashton, Bass Nectar, from Mimi Page. And it says it's a call for true accountability, responsibility, and healing action on behalf of the music industry. So it does get into a lot just about, in general, about respecting artists and paying them fairly and treating them fairly, and just sometimes how men versus women are treated in the music industry and undervalued on the female side 100%. So it's so worth the read, you guys. I can't say that enough. And I think that's all I have for you in EDM news. I know it's a lot of stuff going on, but I just want to keep you guys informed and pick out the stories that I think are like the most important and the stuff I want to talk about. So that's the main stuff. I want to get into my songs of the week here really quickly before I let you guys go. I'm gonna try and I have 2 new songs and 1 throwback, and it seems to be a trend for me lately, so I'm gonna try and keep doing that for you guys. But the new track that I'm so freaking into right now is the song House Arrest, which is by Sophie Tucker and Gorgon City. Chris Lorenzo just released a remix of it that is fucking fire. It is so good. It's such a good groovy dance song, house song. So again, look up the Chris Lorenzo House Arrest remix. And then I've also really been into David Guetta's new EP. Anybody? Just me? I don't know. It's fire. It's like really, really great house bangers. His song Kill Me Slow is a big one that I'm a fan of. So 10 out of 10, recommend that. I think it was 4 songs in total. But yeah, all of them are great. But I really like Kill Me Slow. And then my throwback for the week is an Above and Beyond song, Hello. I think it was in Io's set. I was listening to an Io set when I was working out, and the lyrics just like got to me, and I was like, what is this song? And then I remembered it's from their Group Therapy album. It's the song You Got to Go, and the lyrics just kind of like hit me in the feels right now with what I'm feeling, and it's a banger. It's so good. So if you guys are trans fans or you're not, Above and Beyond, You Got to Go from their Group Therapy album. That entire album is fucking incredible. I think it came out in 2011. It's definitely on the older side. It's at least 10 years old, but love it. It's amazing. We love Above and Beyond over here. So with all of that being said, you guys, we made it to the end of the episode. Thank you all for sticking around and for listening to this week's episode. Thank you again to BIJOU for coming on and for sharing your story and your music with us. We are all very, very grateful. And I can't wait for the album, you guys. So again, go stream Diamond City. That's dropping July 31st. Give him a follow on Instagram. And, you know, if you guys can, rate and review on iTunes for the podcast. Screenshot this. Make it your stories today. Tag at raveculturecast and at Emma Kapotes. Send a link out to a friend. That would be a huge help. We would also love to have you guys as a part of the Facebook community. So again, a link will be down below if you guys want to join. Would love to have you guys come join the conversation over there. Please send in your submissions for either Listener of the Week, if you guys have any nominations for that, and also for our craziest festival stories. This is the last call for that topic. So that is all I have for you guys. I hope you're all staying happy and healthy. Enjoy your week. Do something you love today. And with that, I will leave you guys here. So I will see you guys next Wednesday in my new episode. Bye, guys.